Montreal Canadiens are proud to select Ivan Demidov.
What's up, everybody? The final episode of the Curfew Boys podcast, live on YouTube and Twitter, also known as X. It is myself, Sammy. We are live with my cousin Chris, and supposed to have the baseman Zook with us. Hey now, gentlemen.
Hey now.
How you guys doing?
Happy holidays. Not bad.
Happy
You?
holidays. Merry Christmas. Hope you guys didn't eat too much. I know I did. I've actually was pretty good this holiday season. I was actually very, very I controlled the portions, let's just say that.
There
Not
you
just
go.
food, but the sweets as well. So yeah, hope you all had a wonderful Christmas or any holiday you guys celebrate out there. And what a way to come back and watch our fellow Montreal Canadiens perform a very awesome sunny sweep in the state of Florida. And yeah, looks like I think Chris might have some technical difficulties going on, Zook, but we'll hold the fort from here, you and I.
Mhm.
You know, I think at some point in time, we all had a feeling that a move was going to be made. That, hey, Chris, live on YouTube and Twitter, by the way, you having technical difficulties. What a time, but it's okay.
We're going live.
We'll do it live.
We'll do
Fuck
it
it.
live.
Say it. We'll do it live. Fuck it.
Incredible.
So, Chris, I think you were the one that broke the news. You sent a big, massive picture in our group chat with capital O, capital M, capital G. Oh my God. And I think the same reaction was amongst all Habs fans, is that Jakub Dobes has been recalled up from the Laval Rocket and is joining the Montreal Canadiens in Florida. And I think it's safe to say the initial reaction and the initial guess from Habs Nation was, that's it. Primo's either gone via trade, or he's injured, or he was sent through waivers. And the obvious was he was sent through waivers, cleared, and he's going to be joining the Laval Rocket. It's obvious, guys. The last couple of performances from Caden Primo, I think Habs management has clearly had enough of him.
It doesn't cut it.
Yeah, that's one way of putting it. Doesn't cut it. I feel bad for the kid, but
no, there's nothing to feel bad about.
No, I feel bad that he was never able to regain his confidence.
Right.
At all. I feel bad for him. I feel he was stuck in his own head.
But you can't say anything negative about how the Canadiens handled it, because they give him the chances, especially at the beginning of the season. It was almost a game off, a game on, a game off, game on. And a lot of goalies don't have that opportunity, right? So they definitely gave him the chance to really prove himself this year.
You know what?
It's not happening.
So, Chris, you can add to this point that I'm going to make. I really thought Caden Primo had finally arrived. The game that you and I went in the press box against Columbus, and he got a shutout, and he played probably his best game. I don't want to say best game of his career, but at least, it's probably not a stretch. Like, it was probably the best game he's played at the Bell Center, at least. And I remember at the end of the game, he said, "This is just the beginning," and I believed him. I believed the fucking kid.
Yeah.
And now here we are, a couple of months later, right after the Christmas holiday. He's going back to the minors, back to Laval.
Well, talk is cheap, boys. That's the sad reality, and you don't want to see it for any professional unless they play for Toronto or Boston. But that put aside, that really put aside. he wasn't able to follow through, and he had an opportunity to come in, and I think he even had the opportunity to come in and play a 50-50 split if he played up to and maybe even play more than a 50-50 split this year, but he really just has not been able to seal the deal.
Yeah.
The only silver lining that I foresee in all of this situation is that, Jakub Dobes, I think, is I genuinely, we've had this discussion on a little bit of a tangent. It feels as though we have a crystal ball because we called this. We're ahead of schedule. We're really ahead of schedule as to what we said. But Primo, look, let's just hope that Primo can go back and play as well as he did last time he was playing with Laval. And if that's the case, you foresee a long playoff run. And at the same time, up here in Montreal, I think you're going to have a goaltender that's going to give you a better chance at being in the infamous mix.
So, call me crazy, call me a little too optimistic. Listen, Caden Primo has had the most success in the minors, and I truly believe that he could find that level of success in the minors. He's the only goalie within the last 2-3 seasons. At least, listen, last time Caden Primo was there, Laval made the playoffs for 2 seasons back to back. One run was longer than the other. The latest one was a bit shorter, but they still made it. He was a good reason why. Mm-hmm. And I really think he could. I think he could find that level of, I'm going to use the term quote unquote success here, at least in the minors. Having said that, guys, everybody, both Jakub Dobes and Caden Primo are restricted free agents at the end of this season. Caden Primo could go into arbitration if he wants. Whatever happens, however it happens, I don't see Caden Primo, getting a qualified offer at the end of this season. Absolutely. If they do, I'm just going to say one thing. If they do decide to trade him, I think they'll obviously trade him to a team that they as well have a minor league goaltender that just needs a fresh start somewhere, and that could help out Connor Hughes in the minors. I don't think that's the feeling I get if we trade for a goalie. Whether it's an older goalie, I don't think it's going to be for a younger goalie because, mind you, Caden Primo's 24, 25 years old, I believe. I don't see it being for a prospect goalie. I just think it's going to be a minor league goalie that could help out Connor Hughes, and then that's it. I think they've paved the way. Like Primo paved the way for himself, and Jakub Dobes, he's paved the way for himself as a backup goalie for Samuel Montembeault. But like Chris said, just a little earlier than we expected.
Yep. And you know what? I think the most indicative thing that came out of all of this is not a single team took a flyer out on Caden Primo. That's scary. No. That's for free for a very reasonable contract. Nobody gave him a shot.
I'll be honest with you, dude. I thought Detroit was going to pick him up. You know why? There's multiple reasons why. My nephew is a huge fan of Detroit, and we speak about Detroit and the Canadiens often. And right now, they're in a situation where their goaltending is decimated. I know they have in the pipeline, Sammy. I know who they have. I'm just saying for a year or so,
Sebastian Kosa and they have
Leon and
not doing it. But Alex Leon, he's not going to be it.
That's what I'm saying. So
but they have Sebastian Kosa. They drafted in the first round, and they have Trey Augustine, who's he won the gold medal. He won the gold medal last year.
In tandem, yeah.
It's three World Juniors that Trey Augustine is playing for the United States. They don't need a goalie. No, I hear what you're saying.
Like a short term thing, like
dude.
And Primo's a Michigan boy, so like it would have been like a perfect thing.
I know.
Going back home.
No, he's from Philly, dude.
No, he's from Michigan.
Is he from Michigan?
Mm-hmm.
But wasn't he? Wait, because his father played for both Detroit and Philly.
Right.
Yeah.
He's born in Michigan, from what I could see.
I thought he probably grew up in Philly though for a good part of his life because Keith Primo was. Yeah. It's so funny not to really talk about Keith Primo, but Keith Primo left from Detroit to Philly the year that Detroit won the cup back to back. Yeah. I checked. You could go check it. He left in his final year with the Red Wings was in 96. That was the year that Colorado won with Patrick Roy, them from leaving Nordiques. he went to Philly afterwards, and that's when
Right.
Detroit won the. So, anyways, look, all that to say is, this is just my feeling. I'm not going with facts or with any insider information that we saw from analysts from Twitter or what have you. I'm just going with my gut feeling here. Is no matter what happens, this is the end of the line for Cayden Primo, and it's just not working out. Anthony on the podcast said many times Cayden Primo needs to get out of here to find success, and he might be right.
Charlie Lindgren.
Or Charlie, yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, he's going to Washington. That's going to be the route. It's going to be like Zach Fucale and Charlie Lindgren.
Well, Fucale's agent is trying to get him back into the NHL but right now he's dominating in the K, which is whatever, good for him. But look, it is what it is. It's just, you know what? Like, I think we all believed at one point, you know, he was like I think he was like goaltender of the year for Northeastern. You know, he was goaltender of the tournament for one of the World Junior tournaments. You know, like for a 7th round draft pick, he had some promising like stats or showings, but the problem with Cayden Primo is it's up here, man. And for some reason he just couldn't string it together. He couldn't get it together. And I'm sorry, unfortunately, as a goalie for the Montreal Canadiens in this market and in this city, if you do not have the mental strength and capacity to get through it, it's tough. It's going to be tough. So I'm going to go out. I'm going to go out and say this. I don't think Cayden Primo is good enough for the Montreal Canadiens. I still think he's good enough to be a backup elsewhere. It's just not working here anymore, and that's part of the business. Sorry, we need someone to help Montembeault win, and right now he's not the guy.
Yep. Nope.
All right, so again, water, not hard liquor. Look, man, let's get right into it. Did you guys expect this? Did you expect Jakub Dobes to get a shout out? Did anybody in the comments, please, if you felt like Jakub Dobes debut shout out was coming, please buy us a lottery ticket, send us the numbers. We'll split the winnings however we need to. That is the absolute most.
You know what?
I don't even have words, dude.
I have to share something. Now, this dates back to the Carey Price era. I always thought it was bad luck to even think the word shutout.
Dude, absolutely.
Not even vocalize it.
Mm-hmm.
But when they were playing against Florida,
Mm-hmm.
towards the end of the first period, the way that they were playing, I said, there was a voice within that just said, I think you might get a shutout. And like right away, I'm going like, no, you don't say that. It's gonna screw up. And
you can't even think it. Like you don't want that. You don't want that mental energy out there to the hockey universe.
Yeah. It's a faux pas, complete faux pas in the hockey universe. And all that to say is when he fall, like defending Stanley Cup champions, a team that we've had a lot of difficulty playing against at this time of the year. Seriously and thoroughly deserved kid. I think the team played very well in front of him, very responsibly in front of him.
Very.
But he's also like in his very, very short 1 game time with the Montreal Canadiens. He's gigantic. Like even in comparison with Primo, like you just look at Primo in front of the net versus Dobes. Like I think he's going to confuse a lot of teams because he's instantaneously one of the biggest goaltenders. Yeah, he's instantaneously one of the biggest goaltenders in the league.
6'5", boys.
He has that Hellebuck stance.
Oh, that's a good comparison. Really?
Big big bugger.
But
Hellebuck.
But here's the thing. Like Cayden Primo is not a small kid either. He's not a small guy either.
But he plays smaller.
Dude, that's what I don't understand.
Yeah. And
that's what's so unfortunate about this whole thing.
Yeah.
Dude, and if you looked at Dobes, the way he speaks, the way he composes himself, carries himself, he's one confident kid. And I remember watching him in Ohio State, and he wasn't terrible, but he wasn't Jacob Fowler good.
No.
But like, you know, there was still something about him. Like he still had good numbers enough to be like, yeah, no, this And then once they signed him, I was like, okay. So once they signed Dobes to his entry level contract, at first there was a whole like, okay, they're gonna compete. Let's see who gets the position as not the starter, but like, hey, listen, it's better to have more goalies in your system than not enough. When they drafted Jacob Fowler, like, listen, we all knew the main reason what that was. But man, one thing about Jakub Dobes is it's crazy how much of a jump he made from the start of his pro hockey career with the Laval Rocket to what he is now. When he first started, dude, this kid he was Dominic Hasek, but sliding everywhere. He didn't give a shit about covering the crease. All he did was just make sure he threw his body and his limbs in front of the puck. That was the first half of last season. After that, I don't know what the heck happened. His technique just suddenly did a 180, focused, calm, perfect rebound control. Lateral movement was a lot better. It wasn't perfect, but a lot better. And that's something we saw against the Panthers. Like, I think the key thing to his game was his rebound control. He gave nothing to the Florida Panthers. He gave them no chance for a rebound, practically none. So, but credit to what Chris said, the defense played so well in front of him. And here's a name that we have to mention about the defense, dude. Like Alexandre Carrier, man. Like, this could be an underrated move by Kent Hughes this season. We're not gonna go jump too far ahead, but like, they played so well in front of Dobes too. We have to give everybody credit.
Yeah.
Notice since Carrier, or since he's been in the team, Caden Goulet's play.
Dude, they are an awesome pairing. They're such an awesome pairing.
But he's not overdoing it anymore. That's what I find.
Yep. Nope, that's true.
I found Caden Goulet was trying to do way too much at the beginning of the season. Like a lot of the other like they were playing out of their position all of the times, which now we're starting to see them play how they should.
Yeah.
And look what's happened the last 5 games.
Well, Zook, you also said it so well. Like, the boys are playing on their respective sides
Yeah,
on defense as well. So, you get the puck up the ice that much quicker. You're not fetching it off the boards on your backhand.
They're not scrambling.
And
Mike Matheson's the only one, but I mean, he's such a good skater that it's okay. He could compensate. But because Caden Goulet's play is elevating because of Carrier, it also takes a lot of the load off of Mike Matheson. And if you notice these last 2 games, Mike, like at least these 2 games, Mike Matheson, a lot less mistakes. Like, Matheson Mike Matheson was very good these last 2 games.
I see a funny comment by. I want to react to what you just said, but I want to also react to what Big Pizza Pie just said. He says Carrier reminds me of Josh Georges. All that to say, I think Josh Georges, I used to call him Bambi. He looked like he was always wobbly on his skates, and he was don't get me wrong, heart and soul player, definitive assistant captain. Love to have him on the team. What he said, you compare him to, let's say, Max Pacioretty. Josh Georges says, like, I don't have it in me to wear the Maple Leaf sweater. No chance. Whereas you have Pacioretty saying it's the nicest jersey he wore. Whatever.
Well, he said his kids wore.
His kids. But all that to say is, Josh Georges, love the guy, but I think no knock on Georges, but I think Carrier looks a little bit more solid on the back end for some odd reason.
The Josh Georges that was paired up with
Hal Gill.
I'm pretty sure Josh Georges paired up with Hal Gill was very good, and then PK came and Hal Gill was mentoring PK a lot. But no, Josh Georges at the beginning, he was solid defensively. But before he ended up getting traded to Buffalo, like Josh Georges was solid, but like, and give Carrier credit. He's putting up points. He's got like 4 or 5 points. He's got 4 points in 5 games. It's just, again, it's no offense to someone like Justin Barron, but the lack of experience was showing in that back end. And Matheson Savard couldn't do that much anymore. Like Savard, God bless him, he's a shot blocking machine, but he's no spring chicken anymore. They
No.
bring in a veteran who's still young enough physically and in like prime shape at the age of 28, and look at the way he's playing. This might be one of the most underrated steals of this trade
Jimmy, also,
by Kent Hughes.
100%. The other point that I said I wanted to react to,
Mhm.
I think is a big talking point. Marty's trusting Mr. Lane Hudson quite a bit too. So Lane Hudson's taking quite a bit of pressure off of Mike Matheson.
No,
That's
totally, dude.
like,
A thousand. But the thing about Mike Matheson is, like, I think him too, being paired with Lane Hudson, it's let the kid make those chances and make those mistakes. And by doing that, Matheson will not create a lot of those offensive turnovers like he has sometimes the habit of doing. I find there's a fair balance there. But another defensive pairing too, like the Jack-Eye Savard pairing is just solid. It's a simple pairing that barely makes any mistakes. They keep it simple. To be honest, you know what I think the next trade's going to be? Like, I feel bad for Jaden Struble, but unless somebody gets hurt, I don't see him getting any ice time. How could you put him in the lineup when the defense right now, the six of them are playing so well? Don't be surprised if this goes up until injuries can happen. There's a chance that it probably will. If this doesn't happen, I see maybe another move being made the way they traded Jordan Harris. Now, I don't think we're going to get a Patrick Laine type player, but I think we could get something for Jaden Struble. I'm jumping the gun here, but it's something I thought of, and it's like my God, like this is a healthy team. We're a healthy team.
Okay, please. I know Zook, you're due. Like we gotta throw the puck your way or the
This is a
figurative
good
mic your
one.
way. But yeah,
I like this one. We're freak road. Marty hasn't shaved his beard and has Marty can't shave for the rest of the season.
Marty starts rocking the Jesus beard.
I love that beard. I love Marty's beard, by the way.
You know, on that note, like Rafiq, always nice to hear from you, man. One of the big things for all the people who are losing their minds and saying, "Oh, Marty St. Louis," how many games has it been that Marty actually has his entire roster, and they're starting to figure their stuff out, and they're starting, fans,
this month.
calm down. Like,
It's
in other
this
words,
month. Chris, absolutely, Chris. The month of December is the first month that Marty St. Louis, since starting coaching this team, has had a full healthy lineup.
Exactly.
Since December 2nd or 3rd. And ever since then, I have it right here on my notes. They're 8-5-0.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. They have one game remaining. Tuesday night, New Year's Eve in Vegas.
So they're above
Golden
500
Knights.
if they're healthy.
Dude, this is
Marty as coach.
This is their most successful month of the season so far.
Mm-hmm.
So far, okay.
Yeah.
They're top 10 in scoring. I think I saw another stat. I forgot their top 10. Something. Anyways, I gotta get another reason for the success. We keep talking about him, but Jake, dude, guys, Jake Evans.
Yeah.
Like what the fuck is he doing?
8 years, $8 million a year. Sign it. No, I'm kidding.
Dude, Jake Evans, a 5-game scoring streak. Don't worry, Big Pizza Pug. We will mention this player, but we're gonna start with Jake Evans here, dude.
Dude, I was walking my dog when he scored last game, and I was listening to Team 690.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy said it so well. I'm like, so this was after he scored, like while they were looking at the replay. They're like,
which game? Florida, the Panthers, or Tampa Bay?
Tampa Bay, sorry, Tampa Bay.
Okay.
And he said he renamed him to Jake Evans. Don't ever pass the puck.
Yeah.
because remember last year he used to always pass the puck. Like right before on a 2-on-1, he would pass the puck, whereas now he's shooting it this year. Like this year, I've noticed he's been using his pretty wicked wrist shot, and it's going in. It's going in. He's already close to his record, goals in his career,
and a carbon copy of goals. The two goals that he sscored were nearly identical.
Yeah,
like identical. Same
So-
corner, same rush. I think even Armia was with him on both.
So
Yeah.
if you guys were to guess, where do you think Jake Evans ranks this year for shorthanded goals? Like in what position?
Second place.
Zook?
First.
No. He's tied for second, so he's got 3 shorthanded goals.
I knew he was close to the top.
He's tied for second with Alex Tuck, but he's only 1 behind Sam Reinhart.
Reinhardt.
And imagine they played against Florida, and that was another key to that win against the Panthers. Discipline. Besides the Jack-eye fight, and I think both teams, they only had 1 penalty each. Savard had 1, and I forgot who on Florida, but that was also key. You don't want to take penalties against a Florida Panthers team, but one guy we got to give credit. Big Pizza Pie mentioned it.
Yeah, Docker.
Who called it that, like, the last couple of games, like, we're starting to see little glimpses here or there of Doc. Was it Zook? Zook, was it you that you're like, I'm liking his game lately?
I would have said the last 5 games is what I said last time.
Well, the game against Columbus, I think we said it. Like, he had a pretty decent game, and it's like, okay, like, he's slowly showing signs of a bit of like his quote unquote comeback. Like
Marty said it. He puts in the hours. He works hard to practice.
1,000%. Man, those 2 goals, like, how could you not be happy for him?
Yeah.
And that line of Doc, Line and Newhook.
Look,
These last 3 games, so far so good.
In my opinion, the big, or one of the big reasons of why the Canadiens are doing well as of late compared to the beginning of the season was we're getting a lot of secondary scoring that we were getting at the first month.
1,000%. That secondary scoring is coming from the fourth line. Jake Evans, Armia. Look, guys, Emil Heineman.
Yeah,
Emil Heineman, my God.
Dude,
bravo.
Rookie of the year.
Do y'all remember who we traded for to acquire Emil Heineman?
With Calgary, it was
Monahan?
Nope. Who did we give?
Who do we give? Wait a second. Calgary. Oh,
come on, guys. I searched this up today.
I'm shooting blanks here.
People in the crowd, just stay silent for 2 seconds. Refrain from responding if you can.
People in the crowd.
Okay, I'll give you guys a who Zook. I'll give you guys a hint.
Wait, was he a defenseman?
Nope, he was a forward. He was part of that.
Oh, Toffoli.
There you go.
Oh,
guys, I was
Chris,
sleeping. I was sleeping before this episode. Look at the hair in the back of the head.
Chris, you get this for the correct answer. Ding, 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 ding.
I was gonna say, who were the cousins or the brothers? Who do
they got Toffoli and Pitlick.
Pitlicks. That's what it was. I was about to say Pitlick.
Okay. Oh, Big Pizza Pie has to go. Hey, we wish Big Pizza Pie a happy New Year. All the best to 2025. Very, very loyal listener and follower. Thank you so much. Happy New Year 2025. Yeah. And man, Tyler Toffoli, mind you, Tyler Toffoli, he's still scoring goals. The fucking guy, still putting up 20 goals a season.
I loved him with the Canadiens. I thought he could have served. Call me crazy, but I thought this guy could have served as captain of the Canadiens for a few more years before Suzuki was actually named. I thought it was possible. I didn't think it was necessary. I didn't think it was an absolute. But I thought if he had stayed, he could have been a temporary captain.
Yeah, maybe.
It's not like he wouldn't have been the best captain. Far from it, the best captain of the Montreal Canadiens in the history of the organization. But I do think that he was a true leader. A lot of the young guys looked up to him. And anyways, any day this guy wants to come back, I know he's getting up there in age, but I would love to have him back. I also want to make one point though. Kirby Doc called me crazy. I thought Kirby Doc had an even better game against Tampa. He was not on the score sheet, but I think he was just so much more solid.
I do not disagree with you. The Alex Newhook goal was all Kirby Doc.
Yep.
If you look at again, Kirby Doc, puck carrying down the middle,
line A2,
chips it deep into the zone, regains possession of it, and then gives it to Liney. Liney and Matheson, beautiful tic-tac-toe play between them. Newhook placed alone. It was a beautiful triangular formation. Newhook placed in the slot all alone, snipes it. And yeah, he gets no points for that
That's fine.
on the score sheet at least. But but sometimes, man, it's the assists that you don't get. And on that play, Chris, 1,000%, Kirby Dach was awesome on that play. He didn't have a bad game. I thought he was very engaged as well. A little bit more. I think he's slowly being comfortable getting a little bit more physical.
Yeah.
I really think that. I don't know if I'm the only one who notices that, but like I really like if you looked at the game against Columbus, even though they lost, how many times was he going to the net and not being afraid of getting physical a little bit?
That's true.
So this could be it. This could be finally the turning point of Kirby Dach's season. I hope. We're not getting too carried away. And I agree with this statement from Joe. I don't know where Joe is in the world, but apparently he can only watch the game against Vegas in the new year at 7 a.m. So don't ask me to calculate the time difference. But Joe's right. The second line is improving. There's still a lot of work to do, absolutely. But listen, it's at least 3 games in a row. We're seeing signs of flashes of consistency, and that's what they need. And especially against this Vegas team. Like Vegas is one of the best teams in the league, and they give up the least amount of goals, especially at home. So Tuesday night's game is going to be a challenge, but I love the way the Canadiens. I love the way they played against Tampa Bay as well. Like I know we talked about Jakub Dobes was the talk, and he gets a shutout in his NHL debut, but the Canadiens showed up against Tampa Bay, and they weren't intimidated. They weren't intimidated whatsoever. Nick Suzuki is laying out the bodies, going and smashing to Nikita. Nikita Kuch.
My heart.
I thought it was Jack Guy that did it. I look at
listen,
the jersey; it's 14. I'm like, what?
Listen. You. Oh, Joe's in Australia. Oh, come from the land down under. Nice, awesome.
New South Wales, yeah, okay.
Australia. Fuck, they have a good hockey team apparently over there. Like they have quite a good few pro leagues in Australia. My buddy's brother, actually, kid who grew up when his brother played in Australia. Anyways, yeah, that Nick Suzuki hit on Kucherov was such a beautiful sequence because I love Nikita Kucherov's talent. I don't like a lot of the shit he does, but I love his talent. He deked the shit out of Lane Hudson. The poor kid had no idea what to do, but that Suzuki just almost Scott Stevens style. Boom! Just ran right into.
I missed that sound, Sammy.
I went straight to the chat. I was just like,
oh my god!
I hate
Beautiful,
Kucherov. Hate him.
Beautiful,
it was such
clean hit. Beautiful, clean hit.
To see Kucherov at the end of the game whining. Yeah, I don't know what this Baker Mayfield thing is. I don't see it. I really don't see it. But look, you guys, I'd love to be making that kind of coin, but I'm not. I'm doing all right for myself, but not that kind of coin. Definitely not.
Chris, keep talking. I got to look at Baker Mayfield over here. What he really?
I don't fucking see it. Pardon my French, but I don't see it whatsoever. I think this is the second guy. I'm not sure if it was Stash for Dead that said it before.
It's because you got the same beard. He has a bit more of a rounder face than you. Baker Mayfield.
Jesus. Yeah, I'm gonna start throwing footballs here, but
don't you have a football game to play? It's that's hilarious.
Texas, good land.
But look, if it helps get viewership, I'll be Baker Mayfield ripoff. So all that to say is, Kucherov was whining and complaining at the end of the game.
Yeah, I saw that.
You know what? To get under a player's skin like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Honestly, the Canadiens
He's so competitive though. That's why.
Like, you want to summarize the weekend. You want to summarize what went down. The Canadiens, Christian Dvorak aside, look like a well-oiled machine.
Yeah,
they're every single line is doing what they have to, if not more, especially that fourth line.
Yeah,
but it's just clicking. And defensively, like, these comments are throughout the comment section. We are riddled with like defensively responsible, no more risky plays. Everybody knows their spot. You name it. Like, the defense have just been playing a safe game, a reliable game. They've been very dependable. They've been supporting the goaltenders. They've been breaking out the play very, very well. Yeah, there is the occasional mistake, but we also put this in the chat, and I think even Sportsnet threw it up, or TSN threw it up. Look at the past 6 games. The Canadiens have a minimum of 4 goals per game in the last 6 games.
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive. And they and also at the same time, while you're doing that exercise and double checking, check how many goals that they've allowed. They haven't allowed very many goals at the same time. So
just the Columbus loss with 5 goals, but
but that we had that discussion. Inexperience, youth, and they're gonna make these mistakes, but they are definitely trending in the right direction. We're 6 points out of a playoff spot now.
We're 5 out of the final wild card spot that's being held by the fucking Ottawa Senators. But but listen, 5 points out of a wild card spot right now at the end of the year of 2024. Is that in the mix?
I think so.
I think it is.
We have more points than the Rangers.
We're tied with them.
And now we're tied.
The Rangers are playing right now as we speak.
It's because we have a game in hand. Sorry, yes.
Against who are they playing against? Anyways, I'll go check it out after. But
I'm checking now as we speak.
Losing 2-0 against Panthers.
But like, didn't we kind of foresee this? Again, it doesn't mean that I still don't know if the Canadiens are going to make the playoffs via wild card spot. Chris, I can't see.
2-0 Panthers.
Panthers are up 2-0 on the Rangers.
There you go. Okay. I still don't know if they're going to make a wild card spot, but I did believe at the beginning of the season that they are going to make a push. I always said this season, they're going to finish bottom 10 or between bottom 10 and bottom 13, 14, give or take. They're bottom 10 right now, like at this very moment, right now. Even if they're tied with the Rangers, they're in the bottom 10th spot. This is what needs to happen for this rebuild to progress.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And it all started with the arrival of Patrick Laine.
Yep.
And once again, the impact of Carrier on the overall D is huge. Nobody's bashing the man-to-man defense now. The shedded. I don't know how to pronounce your YouTube handle. Totally right. 1,000%. It's crazy how just a veteran presence can make a difference. It's nuts. It's absolutely nuts. And because of that, Montembeault's looking better. He's making great saves. He's holding the fort. Defense is helping him out. You give a rookie goaltender his first shutout in his first game, 34 saves nonetheless, but still, there's some good signs here. There's some very, very good signs here. And the month of January, though, guys, January, and maybe even depends how they do in January, maybe in February, these 2 months are going to be the massive deciding factors of where this team will finish and what Kent Hughes will do at the trade deadline.
The name Kent will be the number 1 baby name in Quebec for 2025 if the Habs make playoffs.
Hey, Ken!
So, yeah, I think Habs could jump over 2. I think more teams tomorrow. They have, again, it's going to be a challenge, man. The Vegas Golden Knights, they're one of the strongest teams in the league. Oh, our buddy Elias here, January, we are doomed. Hey, listen, their first game in 2025 is against the Chicago Blackhawks, back-to-back games. After that, against the Colorado Avalanche. If I'm Marty, I'm putting Dobes against Chicago. Let him face Connor Bedard. Let him face those guys, and then you put Montembeault Saturday against Colorado.
Elias or Elias. Sorry about the pronunciation. It's one or the other. They were supposed to be doomed this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
They were supposed to be doomed this weekend. They were supposed to get run over.
I thought they were doomed this weekend.
They're peaking. I'm not saying that they're peaking. Well, maybe not peaking, but they're waking up.
They're trending upwards.
For sure. They're trending up. You know what, Sue? There you go. Those are the words that I wanted.
This road trip, I really thought a win in Columbus. I didn't think they were going to win these 2 games in Florida. Maybe, probably going overtime in Vegas. Canadiens don't play bad in Vegas. Depends. This is an interesting comment here.
Sign Armia to a 1-year contract. I would.
Dude, that's
Like entry level salary. though.
That's the first Habs fan that we've come across that has said something as
but
such.
he's not. Maybe I like him because of the Cartman picture for his YouTube handle. But I don't know, man. Like, do you? They're gonna get an offer for. They might get offers for Armia. They're for sure gonna get offers for Evans. But here's the thing: if the Canadiens are really, really like we talk about them being in the mix with 5 points out, what if they're 2 or 3 points out come trade deadline? I don't think you could get rid of these guys. Not the way the team is playing right now. And
Christian Dvorak.
you can't even get, look, no offense to him, you can't even get free pucks for him. Anyways. Sorry,
I'm blocking Jake Evans from having a more significant role. In all honesty, at this moment in time, with what we discussed, he's just blocking him.
I don't think so, dude. Man, Marty is using those lines properly. It's look how great it's working. If if things get better to the point where they're just maybe 2 to 4 points away at the trade deadline, I don't think you should touch anybody. You don't touch anybody. That's just my thought here. Like, you don't get rid of Savard, you don't get rid of Evans, you don't get rid of Armia. You're not going to get offers for Dvorak, at least in my opinion. I don't think so. Let's say they do manage to trade Dvorak for a minor league player and a 4th round pick, whatever. Well, what are you going to do? Like, if they do that, it's because they feel like maybe someone like Owen Beck is ready to come up. But at the same time, too, that's putting a lot of pressure on the kid for doing a 3rd line role or 4th line role when you're trying to make the playoffs.
Yeah,
but he's trying to make the playoffs with his team in Laval as well. So I don't see that happening. I don't see that happening just yet. So I don't know. I don't even know if a guy like Mike Matheson is maybe teams are targeting him. I think his contract right now, with the 2 or 3 years remaining, is going to stop him from going anywhere. I just don't see it. I really don't see this team making trades unless it's official. They're back down to being the bottom 5. I don't see it happening. I really don't.
It's not going to happen for Matheson. I mean, not yet.
No. I don't think so. I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen anytime. I really don't. Not this year. Maybe next year, but I still don't think so. I'm still not sure. So
Evans to Dano.
Evans is Dano 2.0. Okay, but here's the thing. I don't think Jake Evans should be getting over $4 million. But with Dvorak's contract finally coming to an end next year, and maybe a couple of more, we'll see what happens with Armia. We'll see what happens with Savard. Would it be okay to pay Jake Evans
4.5?
Maybe not 4.5, but I said
4
nothing.
by 4 million, 4 years.
Yeah.
Sign me
16,
on that. I'd sign that.
Yeah, I can't see him more than 4.5, Sam.
Dude, 4.5 for Jake Evans. Look, at the age of 28,
Look,
is it going to be one of those things where, like, we criticize the Brendan Gallagher contract because he's getting paid for what he did and not what he's doing right now, besides the leadership. I don't want them to do that to Jake Evans. I don't want them to pay him over $4 million just because he had this season the best season of his life. You get what I'm saying?
I don't think that's the case, and for 2 reasons. I know Jake Evans has had some concussion injuries, but Jake Evans has proven to be one of the best penalty killers. Repeating for the millionth time, but Jake Evans is also right around 28 years old, so he's in the prime of his career. Yeah, he's in the prime of his career. But I don't think he plays the same style as Gallagher, which means that as much as Jake Evans has had some injuries, I don't see him slowing down. Like Gallagher, for years, after his rookie seasons and after some of his injuries, I think he got slower in terms of skating. His wrist shot wasn't the same with his hand injuries. Jake Evans is not necessarily that guy, but he is such a key role player. And as compared to Dano, Zook's favorite player of all time, playing with the Montreal Canadiens, as compared to
Shorty
Dano,
o'clock. I love that. Yeah.
I just definitely don't think that Evans is going to be as demanding. And
no,
I do
I get it. I get that, you're right, but don't forget, dude, Gallagher got those contracts because he had 2 back-to-back seasons of 30 goals.
All to
But
say
and
is
that
that
was
4 million
that
is
was
never.
Bergevin.
But that 4 million, what I'm saying is the 4 million is never going to be too much for Evans, because even if it's 32 and he starts slowing down, I really don't think there's ever going to be a moment in time where we're just like, Jesus Christ, this is an untradeable contract. This is horrendous. With the cap going up like $4 million, don't get me wrong, $4 million is a very reasonable contract within the league.
Well, and that's the thing, and like it's not like it's the Bergevin management right now just throwing contracts like that with high amounts of money.
They apparently didn't even speak to him yet.
Apparently,
no talks.
I'm gonna misquote somebody, but apparently it's crickets. So nobody's talking.
So
we'll see come the new year. I get what Chris. For me, it's like, okay, a cap hit of 4 years at $4 million. It's like, okay, pay Jake Evans. You pay maybe 5, 6, and then the remaining 3 years it drops. So like 4 million, 3 million, 2, where it averages out to.
Not getting more than that anywhere else.
I don't think so. But the more he keeps playing like this, for sure, there's going to be some playoff team somewhere that might have a centerman issue, and they need a special teams centerman. They're going to offer Kent Hughes something. I really think a first round pick might be, if he continues this way.
And we do know that he is a decent playoff player as well.
Well, yeah, he was
that year.
He wasn't too bad that year before he got knocked out.
He was
younger too.
He was fantastic, dude.
You guys are gonna rip into me for saying this, but he reminds me a lot of a Yanni Gourde type player for the Tampa Bay Lightning. I'm not the same style of play, but just his value to a team in the playoffs. That the following years when Seattle had their expansion and they went after Yanni Gourde.
I like that comparison.
I think he's got that type of value. He's a sneaky, valuable player.
Evans will test the market. He will be 29. He owes him to himself.
I think so too.
It's a possibility. They're gonna have look. Let's say they don't trade him this year. Yeah, buy low, sell high. 101. Yeah, I get it. Buy low, sell high. Again, I just think if they're making that push, if they want to be in that mix, I don't know if you give up, if you give up Evans and break that line. I don't see it happen. But I get it, the buy low, sell high method. I understand that. If anything, again, all depends what happens here. I really think the challenge is going to be for Kent Hughes to refuse these offers because he might get some good ones. I don't. Again, if Jake Evans keeps scoring goals, but the Canadiens drop because they keep losing, Kent Hughes is making phone calls. But if they're not, I think Kent Hughes is going to be receiving phone calls. There might be a challenge there where he might counter offers and be like, listen, if you really want him, you're going to have to offer me. He's probably going to ask for the king ransom for him, if anything. And if he does that and he gets something good in return, like Kent Hughes is the badass bald genius of our era. That's all I'm going to say.
Amen.
So there's a very, very, very good chance that as the season goes on, we're going to keep talking about Jake Evans. But man, it's an exciting time. It started with Jakub Dobes' fucking shutout against the Stanley Cup champions. Out of all teams, the defending Stanley Cup champions, he gets a shutout against them. That is insane. But we're going to slowly wrap this episode up, our final episode of 2024. And we thank everybody for tuning in and being part of the conversation, all that. This is a lot of fun. We're going to end it on this. We're going to ask you all, and I actually have a question for Chris and Zook, is because the year 2024 is coming to an end, I want you all, audience included, Chris, Zook, I want you guys to go down memory lane and look back to what was your favorite moment, Montreal Canadiens moment of 2024. And we've had a few replies on our Instagram. We asked this question on our Instagram. Follow us on Instagram if you have Instagram. And we've got quite a few answers, and it involves two specific players. The majority of the answers I read through, I haven't seen them yet since being live on this episode, but I really have answers that we got two players it evolves around. And again, Members of our audience, type in right now your favorite memories, and we're definitely going to show it on screen here. Thank you, Rafiq, for the compliments. We really appreciate it. Whoever wants to start, Chris or Zook. Okay, Zook, you got the hand up. Let's go. Your favorite moment, your favorite Habs moment of 2025.
It can't be like a mix of something.
It can be, just say whatever. Say whatever you want.
Because you know me that I was very high on Dobes for a while, right?
You were the number one member. You were on the Dobes fan
when I
club.
first saw him. When was he? He was 18 years old, or whatever. I was like, this guy's gonna be a beast. So happy that he's playing in the Canadiens. I was very glad to see that. But yes, we just saw the Demidov draft.
The draft of Demidov. Okay.
Yeah, man. We all were craving, that sort of flary forward. We were craving it. We were in need of one that we haven't had one since Kovalev. By the way, on that, did you hear that interview of Kent Hughes, Vinny the Cavalier, and Roddenberry?
I saw.
It's on YouTube.
It is on YouTube.
It's like 12 minutes.
I saw the link. I did not watch the video.
One juicy little fun fact, and this is coming from the mouth of the coach, Roddenberry, or Roddenberry. I can't pronounce his name.
Piece of shit.
He said that Demidov is one of the hardest working kids on the team.
Okay, but
when you see Kent Hughes' face, Kent Hughes looked almost pissed. If you looked at it, he was emotionless the whole interview. He was like, yeah.
Okay, but I was like, but I don't get it. I don't get what's Rottenberg's problem.
I know
he had what, like a 3-point performance the last game.
And what line?
He was on the top line or the second line, dude. But then why does he go and say, "Oh, I'm not going to praise him because the day I start praising him is the day he's going to start wearing the crown"? What the fuck does that even mean? Like, just say he had a good game and now on to the next one. I don't get it. I don't get this fucking coach. Maybe he has some kind of strategy that we don't agree with, but he thinks that might work. Listen, the kid's showing that he could fucking play. He has one of the best points per game in the KHL this season, and he had more than Michkov had last year.
I suggest you look at the interview because you could see a little.
I will. I definitely will.
To perhaps their mentality behind their way of hockey, which is pretty
okay. So we had a couple of good ones here. Staxer, Lane Hudson debut, of course. Rafiq said Cole Caulfield switching from number 22 to number 13. The shredded drafting Demidov, like, of course, Suzuki as well. I got a feeling this might be the number one answer amongst favorite moments here. Go, Chris.
Guys, like, those are amazing. Those are absolutely amazing. But on the emotional side, when fucking Patrick Laine scored that first goal for the Canadiens, I jumped out of my fucking seat, like 5 feet in the air.
Patrick Laine's first goal as a Canadian.
Happy, so happy for the guy. Like, don't get me wrong, the trade for him was incredible. We're all excited. Lane Hudson, there's so much to be excited about. Demidov, there's so much to be excited about. On the Curfew Boys side of things, having Simona Jacka, I think this past year was amazing. It was one of my favorite.
We had awesome guests on this show this year. It started with Alex Sills, who played for the Quebec Ramparts and is one of the co-founders of Quick Feet, which is a sole, an insole that you use inside your skate to level your feet, which I play with all the time. It started with him. We had Michael Simpson, the goalie from the London Knights, who now is with the Belleville Senators. He's a good kid. He was pretty cool. Who else did we have? We had Andrew Thompson from the YouTube channel Drew Deeks. He was amazing. Who else? Oh my God, who else? Yeah, our buddy and follower Dan Kozel, who's a massive diehard Habs fan. And yeah, the Simona Jacki is she's just an incredible woman. Gave us a bit of an insight, like the day in the life of her sons Arbor and Florian. But she talked a little bit about her husband. She talked about her daughter. She talked about herself too, and like what fuels her every day, and being a mom of two hockey. She's a hockey mom of 2 boys, not just one, 2 of them, with the same team, same organization. That was an awesome episode. If you guys could go find it. But another episode too, when we had the in-person episode with Sunil from Habs Cave, I think that was freaking amazing. That was a great time. yeah, that's the mention of our
Marty listening to Joey. Interesting.
Yeah,
Coach
beating
Joey.
Toronto, Rafik
Good
beating
man.
Toronto in the opener.
yeah,
the season opener was really nice too.
I was there for that. So yeah, that's a pretty cool memory. Chris, are you done with your favorite memories? Because I got one.
Go for it. Go for it.
It's Habs related, but it's not so much what the team did. But I really think my favorite moment of 2024 is when myself, you, Chris, and Anthony, we went to Chris Nyland's first annual golf tournament for the Liam Foundation. Raised a lot of money for that. We got to see Arbor Jacki there. We got to see Florian Jacki there. But we got to see so many legends from Jesus Christ. Name them all if you can. Oh, Sammy the Goat. Thank you, Bish Boy Steve. I love the Cartman picture and I love South Park. But dude, we got, who do we see? Larry Robinson, Serge Savard.
Bob Gainey?
No, Bob Gainey was not there.
Chris
Michel Lacroix,
Chelios.
the announcer. Chris Chelios took a picture with him. Habs legend Patrice Brisebois. He was there
Steve
too.
Bégin,
Steve Bégin, obviously Chris Nyland. My God, who else was there? Andre Roy was there. PJ Stock, Guy Carbonneau was there. He just walked right past me. Like I didn't even know. Like I didn't even know how to keep my fucking cool. It just smelled of champions. That's what that place smelled. It smelled of Stanley Cup champions all over. Like
something Toronto could never experience.
No, sorry, Toronto. Chris Nyland spoke to my football team when I was a kid, and he was awesome. Yeah, man, Chris Nyland. He's an awesome dude. My God. Anyways, we were at the table with Brittany Kennel, the lovely Brittany Kennel, local country singer.
Expecting her first child. So congratulations to her.
She's
super talented.
She's awesome. She's gorgeous. Great family. Like it was awesome sharing a table with them, and I think that's my favorite memory too. Like for sure, the Patrick Laine story, the Demidov draft, and you know what's crazy too. I kind of like look back at some of our episodes at the beginning of 2024, and it was one where I think it was me, Zook, and Joey, and Joey was talking about how like Arbor Jacki is playing so well in Laval, maybe keep him there in a sense. So it's crazy what a freaking year can do, and how so much has changed for this team. It's it's nuts. It's nuts. By the way, your live draft episodes were, it's funny. Somebody wrote our live draft episode, but our reaction to the selection of Demidov. So, so that's from our YouTube listeners. I'm just gonna pull up the answers from our Instagram followers. We got quite a few of them here. They're actually very, very. They're typical, but it's obvious. It's there's a big reason why. So we'll start with Chris 961. I'm Ivan Demidov getting picked. Jizz moment, man.
Jizz. Beautiful thing.
Mateo _ Di Loretto. Celine Dion saving our franchise. That's a good one.
What a voice.
Yo Mick 2024 drafting Ivan Demidov and witnessing the Curfew Boys reaction to the pick. Yeah, that was a fun night. Jay Rees 76, Patrick Laine, Hattie. The Patrick Laine, that's
rhyme.
That's an awesome moment too. This is a funny one from Dawes _ Garage. The Laine trade, I almost crashed on the highway when we got the news. Jesus Christ. King Jesse 1967, Laine's hat trick. Habs Era Club, our collaborators on Instagram. Habs Era Club collaborating with the Curfew Boys. Yeah, that's a good one too. Mega _ Murph, Patty Hattie. Rafiki 786, Patrick Laine debut. What a show. Yeah. Malik Joe drafting the demigod, hands down. Happy New Year and go Habs go. And Vitherson B hat tricks of both Slav and Laine. That's true too. According to Slav, the crowd
was louder.
His was louder. Yeah. That's awesome. Well, I guess it's a wrap. Is that a wrap for 2024? Is anybody watching the World Juniors before we say goodnight? Is
I'm
everybody?
putting my money on the USA tomorrow.
Dude,
I'm
they're
sorry.
so strong. They're
I'm
strong,
sorry, but the
man.
USA I think is going to beat Canada, unfortunately.
Big game coming up: Canada versus the United States. Right after the Montreal Canadiens are playing, I think 3:00.
3:00.
3:00 Eastern time, then 7:30 Eastern time. Canada versus the United States. Uh, basically, battle for top spot or top seed in their group. Did everybody? Did you guys freak out when they lost to Latvia? I personally, I wasn't. I was like, it always happens where Canada loses the second game, they get humbled.
Good for
I mean,
Latvia, man.
Dude, and Latvia they beat Germany, so they're going through the
No, they beat them.
they're going through the elimination rounds.
Good
Yeah,
for them.
Yeah.
Good for them.
No, hats off to Latvia. Also, it's good once in a while to
Absolutely.
keep a country and keep a team like Canada on their toes. Like, don't take it for granted.
Yep.
And it's also the coming, like, these smaller some of the smaller countries in the world. It's not the size of the country, but some of these so-called smaller hockey markets are really coming to be
Kazakhstan,
stronger, and the parity at the national level is getting better.
Yep.
And in that sense, we're going to get better international hockey, which is, I think, just going to be better.
I agree. I am going to say this though regarding Team Canada, they better fucking pick Michael Hage next year. They better pick him. They better pick him next year. There's going to be a lot of guys, a lot of kids on this team that won't be able to participate because they're going to reach 20 years old. Michael Hage, I believe, is still going to be 19. They better freaking take him. That's all I'm saying. And I think they will. I really think they will. Gentlemen, one last comment from Rafiq. I wanted to deport myself out of Canada after watching the Latvia.
Yeah.
I am not going to open up that political debate.
Do
Not
not.
right now. No, I refuse. I refuse. I refuse. Everybody, Happy New Year. The hope you all start the new year on the right track with health, happiness, love, whatever you want to call it. If you have a New Year's resolution, go with it. If you don't, that's okay too. But you know what? As long as if you have a goal set in mind, long term, short term, go for it. Yeah, can't believe a new year. I can't believe it's already the end of the year, and there's something to look forward to. Every year there's always something to look forward to. If you can find ways to make yourself better, whatever it is you're going through, every walks of life, fucking go all in. No matter what, don't lose sight of what your goals are. Don't take the gas. Don't take your foot off the gas pedal, mind you. And yeah, hopefully the Canadiens end the new year and the year 2024 on a strong note, and begin it on a strong note too. Remind you all against Vegas Tuesday night, 3:00 Eastern time. Go Habs, go! Zook, to you and your family, Happy New Year, Chris.
Likewise, boys.
There's a good chance we're going to see each other with our family.
Yep.
Look to Anthony, Joey, and Adri. We're obviously going to message them in our group chat, but Happy New Year to them and their family. Happy New Year. Happy 2025 to you all. Thank you so much for sticking with us for another full year. Sometimes I ask myself why, but we truly love the support and the it just keeps getting better. As long as we support this team, this Montreal Canadiens fan community is going to keep growing. Thanks again for tuning in. Please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's absolutely free. Tell your friends about us. Share it wherever you want. Follow us on X or Twitter, however you want to call that. We are on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. You can listen to our audio episodes on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. Zook, Chris, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, guys.
Happy New Year, boys.
We will meet again in 2025.
Soon enough.
Soon enough. Have fun. Don't get too drunk. Until then, bye now. Good night.